Did you ever have a first job that you weren't into at all? Like mine was Old Navy. You're never gonna believe this, but I actually excelled at that job. Employee of the week 3 times, store manager within a year, and... Yep, that was the dream I had on the first day while I slept on the store floor. In actuality, I got fired after 3 days for sleeping, and I picked up that paycheck proudly, okay? Because if you're good at something, like napping, you should get paid for it. And after my first attempt at a job, I was like, I'm not doing this again unless it's exciting. Like, I spent my whole childhood watching movies where, like, dudes rob casinos, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to make money by selling sweaters? I don't think so. But when I hit high school, my friends started dropping like flies. Every weekend, another one had a job. And they gradually kept doing more and more stuff I couldn't afford.
Hey, let's go to the movies.
I can't.
How about go-karts?
I can't.
We're getting season passes to Six Flags.
You know, let me think about that. No, I can't do it. Now, if you don't know Six Flags, it's an amusement park. Roller coasters, food, and I know you're wondering, did I rob a Six Flags? No. But conveniently, where I grew up, there was another amusement park called 60 Flags. Exactly the same as Six Flags, except at one point, I did commit a crime. That's 60 Flags, not Six Flags. 60. You following me? I would never commit a crime at Six Flags. But 60 Flags... oh, we did something terrible. Real quick, I want to say thanks for clicking subscribe and like and stuff. I love telling you about my ridiculous life, and that's the best way to make it happen. Also, shout out to my Patreon peeps. I love you guys. Thank you. I've made a lot of friends on there, actually. All right, back to the story. With my friends going to 60 Flags all the time, while I had to stay at home, I kind of felt like a loser. Oh, Dad, come on. Buy me the season's pass, please.
Son, if you want to go on a ride, you can mow the lawn.
Did you even remember it's his birthday?
Yes. That's why I paid for the gas.
But after months of trying, my dad finally cracked.
You know what would make me truly happy, son?
I'll do anything, Papa.
Cutting you off. You're cut off. It's over. No more money from me.
Now, the thing about my dad is he's been saying that exact sentence since the day I started kindergarten. So it was meaningless until my mom said something like,
Your father's right. You need a job.
You know what, Mom? I was ready to stay here for the rest of my life, and you just ruined it. So with no money to spend and nothing to do, I just ended up at school complaining about it.
Yo, everyone needs a job. The trick is to get a job that's cool.
How am I gonna find that here?
Right here, bro. Stuntman.
What? That's awesome! Turns out 60 Flags had a stunt show, and Bobby'd been hired by them as one of their lead stuntmen. He got to drive the armored car, jump through fire. It was insane. Hey, you gotta get me a job there. That would be awesome. A few weeks later, we were driving in for my first day when Bobby says this.
So, I got you a job.
I know, I'm gonna be a stuntman.
Not exactly.
Not to brag, but I got hired by a way more fun department. Accounting, yay, 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 yay! Somebody shoot me. I guess Bobby told the HR people I was smart, which is half true. I mean, I was waitlisted at MIT, but that's another video. But I guess they're like, you must be good at math. Let's put him in accounting. Thanks, Bobby. I thought it was pretty obvious I wanted to be a stuntman, but hey, you know what's really fun for a teenager? Doing taxes. I'm gonna kill you! And so for the entire summer of my sophomore year, I got to do math. Just me alone in this room with no windows, one computer with no internet, and a giant pile of like $2 million. I don't know about you, but whenever I sit in front of $2 million, the only thing I think about is, how can I make this mine? And I'm proud to say, we figured it out.
So here's the plan. Every morning at precisely 8:37 a.m., Alex shows up exactly 37 minutes late to my favorite spot in the park. The vault.
I'm very consistent.
I'm sure you're familiar with many high-end security systems. The vault has the very best. One flimsy door that locks magnetically with parts purchased from Home Depot.
If you kick it really hard, it opens.
It gets worse. At 11 a.m., 2 security guards escort this armored vehicle to Gate 2.
Now, you should know, this is a theme park. Both of these security guards are highly trained in combat, under the age of 16, and one of them is my cousin, Lewis.
He just got braces. By 11:15, the truck's at the vault. Once inside the vault, the truck driver must be authorized for pickup.
What do they got? Facial recognition? Fingerprint scanner? What is it?
Nah, this is better.
I just look at the guy, and if it's him, I sign off on his clipboard. What? Are you serious? I did not make any of that up. That was legit the security system at 60 Flags when I worked there. We drafted up blueprints, had a stakeout, figuring all out how we're gonna rob the Six Flags, lying to Lewis, telling him his braces were cool. Long story short, Bobby was gonna drive the stuntman armored truck up to the vault. I would sign off on the clipboard because I know Bobby, and boom, if we did it on the busiest weekend I worked there, we would have made $3.4 million. And Six Flags, if you're watching, I mean 60 Flags, if you're watching, hope you're not upset. Like, my friends and I basically only talked about your brand for an entire 8 weeks, so that's probably worth the money. And everyone else that's watching, I know you're wondering, did we do it? Well, there is only one way to answer this. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. You didn't think I was really gonna tell you that, did you? Also, have you ever planned a crime and want to share it with the entire internet? Let me know that in the comments too. I mean, I'm kind of curious what kind of jobs you guys have, or you want to get, just like the whole job thing. Maybe we can talk about that in the comments. And if you're wondering about my 60 flags job, it was actually a really good first job. Like I said, I'd show up late and I'd usually leave early, and I'd still get paid for the whole day, all summer long. So in actuality, I probably stole something more like $8 an hour times 70 days. That's like $6 million. Waitlisted at MIT. You found it. Can anyone find this week's screenshot? Let's find out. Also, you guys have been loving the new style. Thank you for this amazing fan art. It's just like cool, so don't wear your seatbelt.